Salamun alaikum. Today I'm speaking to the Vice President of the World Federation, Mr. Munawer Rattansey. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Let's start with having a little bit of introduction about yourself.
Well, like you said, I am the Vice President of the World Federation. I've been at this position since 2009. Prior to that, I was also the President of the Council of European Jamaat, which is a regional member of the World Federation. And besides that, I have a property development business that I run, and the vice presidency and the portfolio that I take does take a lot of my time, but it's a very interesting and a very challenging job.
What is your role at the World Federation? Where do you concentrate your efforts?
Well, I have started the idea or the advantage of being a vice president is you do not have any fixed portfolio. And I decided to concentrate on the external relations in chairing and forming the media subcommittee or a media committee of the World Federation, which was never in existence before. So we started that. And I'm also got involved in some of the work that is being done in our Bosnia office. These are the three things. And sorry, there was one more thing that I'm involved in is the KSIMC. That is an online matrimonial agency that we've opened up, which is actually replacing what was before, but now instead of being on a volunteer basis, we have outsourced the agency.
I think all the three projects you've mentioned are quite interesting, but I'm not sure that people are aware of what these things really do, like a media center, for example. What are
okay,
these?
see, let me give you a bit of background of what Media Committee does. Media Committee of World Federation is made up of membership or the representations from the region Africa Federation, from the Council of European Jamaat, and KSIMC. So what happens is we meet on a regular basis and discuss the current political events, and we also look in terms of what is beneficial or what is advantageous that we need to discuss, and based on that and the input from the membership itself, we come out with articles, we come out with press releases, and then we distribute it to the external media, and sometimes it's even done through internal media through the newswire. In that way, what happens is we are trying to bring out the voice of the Shia persecution, Shia minorities, where their problems are there, if social problems are there, what goes on in universities here, and very informative things that we do. We've also worked on sort of creating guideline into what is expected out of our funerals, what goes through in our marriage. So those sort of things we come out on an information basis. That's the media part. As I mentioned about the KSIMC.com, it's become from a volunteer into an outsource thing. And then the advantage of KSIMC.com has been is that because it's online, it gives the applicant the flexibility of divulging as much information as they want or hold on to it, and they go at their own pace without any matchmakers or anybody else involved. If they wish to have matchmakers, then they have the option to opt into it. And the third thing that I was talked about was the Bosnia. And the reason I took interest in Bosnia was because of the emerging Soviet satellite countries coming up. There is a demand there of outreach programs, where now the religious freedom has come in, and like we did in Bosnia, there is a possibility of working in Kosovo, Siberia, Azerbaijan. So the idea is to use the Bosnian office as the hub and expand in those places.
Okay. If we take up the first and probably the last point in terms of media and working in Bosnia and all that, so far the World Federation and actually all the Khoja bodies were being accused of being very apolitical, that we don't really get involved in raising our voice for the Shias and stuff. Seems like you've started, but is it more concentration on information about us as a community, or do you speak out for the Shia population out there?
I think the time has come when we need to speak out. Until now, we concentrated on the relief, the education, the health part. But because of the current climate of sectarianism, persecution of minorities, the work that we're doing on the ground is being affected. And that was one of the main reasons we decided to go into the United Nations Human Rights Council. Now that happens every year. And for the whole month of March, events like this take place in Geneva, and we've never been there. And the reason of going in there and working in partnership with the Al-Quwi Foundation was to go out and raise the voice, especially things happening in Malaysia, Bahrain, Pakistan, and what's even beginning to happen in England. So it is important now that we need to shift our focus and also now speak out, and not necessarily on the political side, but more on the human rights side.
So what was your experience like being in Geneva and being part of this setup?
I think it was actually an eye-opener. Like I said, I've never been there. And the reason we chose Al-Quwi Foundation was because it being an Iraqi charity, they have some experience a few years ago when Saddam was in power, and they were trying to bring out the persecution at that time. So we thought with their experience, we will work together and learn and how to go about lobbying and getting our voice heard. And what we found was that it was a massive project. I mean, we only managed to get in at the very last minute, but even with that, we managed to get 3 written intervention. We managed to get 2 verbal intervention, where 2 of our people spoke in front of the General Assembly where the audience was throughout the world. So we were able to raise the issue of Pakistan and Malaysia right in front of the public. So that was something that was really worthwhile doing. But I think going forward, we need to be much more focused. We need to be much more well prepared ahead of time. And I think NGO as a World Federation, it now needs to be brought into focus in the human rights side, so that all the work that we do can go hand in hand with that. And a secretariat or a board should be created to make sure that the NGO work continues. Because now that we've sort of set it on path, the next time around will be much more easier. And we had, especially from World Federation, Abbas Akbar was the main person there, and he did a lot of fantastic work. His expertise is in that field, and I think he should be one of the persons who should be involved in taking this project further.
So do you see with this that the role of the World Federation is kind of changing now?
No, I don't think we are changing. What we are doing is we are responding to the needs of the community. Few years ago, there wasn't much need to go down that route. Now we're finding it that if we don't do it, then the work on the ground gets stopped. I mean, if you look at Pakistan, after the floods, the amount of work that we ended up doing, it gave us so much goodwill with the non-Shia communities, with the Sunnis, because our help was not only going there, it was going all over. And when you start doing a work in a village which is open to all, that really opens up people's eyes, that they're just not looking after own people. And this sort of ventures or this sort of projects that we do really helps our image and what we are there to do. Over and above that, there's a lot of external work is involved. When I say external work, like meeting up with, I had a recent meeting with the Bishop of Woolwich. Now, this is Woolwich, as you realize, is the place where the murder of Lee Rigby took place. And when we talked to him, he was so grateful at the way the communities have responded, and he's seen the real progress of how the faith communities are working in the aftermath of that happened. Then we very actively involved with MCB, which is Muslim Council of Britain, and they facilitated recently a meeting in Regent's Park where they called in the Charity Commission and the head of Prevent. And we were able to question them on a lot of items, especially Charity Commission, where we are working in Syria and we're finding it difficult, and there are ways of working around that. So those sort of places I attend. I also do a lot of Jamaat visitation of our own Jamaat, where I go and sort of address the public and explain to our own community the kind of work that World Federation does. And the amazing part is there's so much lack of awareness of what World Federation does to our own community. So if we have that as an issue, can you imagine how much difficult it is to tell the world? So external work, MCB is there, the meeting of the bishop is there. Then we'd also do, I went to recently to attend the opening of the Hajj exhibition in Toronto. Another thing that we recently did was during the Christmas time, I went up and met Ed Miliband, the leader of opposition, and had a chance to meet up with his officials and familiarize what the World Federation does. There was also what I got involved is in Religious Education Council. Now this is an umbrella body made up of various faith communities and some trusts. And the reason why this organization is become active is the government's marginalization of religious education in the schools. And this body has been put together or has come into action to sort of lobby the government and not to sort of reduce the hours that religious education is taught. Because its effect is not only Muslims, it's the Christians are in that organization, the Jews are in their organization, all of them are together, all worried that religious education should not be. So we're involved with that one also. There are projects that we also are, even though we're working in UK, we are doing it here because we would like to get ourselves as known as many places as possible. In that way, we are sort of making people aware of our presence, of the work that we do. And then that all of this combined helps us when we're dealing with when we go speak with the government officials or the government ministers, they become well aware of it. So even though we are a small community of only 150,000 people, they already know the kind of work that we do. And that again plays out also to the Muslim communities or non-Khoja communities who try and understand as to how our system works of elections and how they can stay for, any president can stay for 2 terms, even though he's popular and whatever it is. So it's quite interesting in trying to explain to people and work my way through.
From a lot of work that you're doing, you could be accused of being very London-centric. How would you respond to that?
The reason it cannot be London-centric is because the amount of time that I go and spend with Jamaats that are outside London to start with, including in Europe. So that's number one that we do. London-centric becomes, sometimes it becomes like that because all the main events and the main activities are based in London. It's not that we want to get involved in it. And at times, what we're trying to do is we are trying to front the organization in the hope that Council of European Jamaat, when they are ready, they can then take it over. All work that we do in Europe is ultimately to be done by the Council of European Jamaats. It's just that because we work in such a way that we are trying to get ourselves in place there, and then Council of European Jamaat can take it over. I'll give you an example of MINAB, which is the Mosque and Imam National Advisory Board. It was an organization that was, the World Federation was the founding member, even though it was based here. And then when they had set it all up, Koij very willingly took it over and continued with it. And then Koij then did become one of the members of the ad hoc committee. So we were able to sort of, this is the whole idea of not sort of putting everything on one organization, but we work as a joint team. And wherever Koij feels comfortable, they're always there to join with us.
You've talked about all these issues that you're dealing with, the media. Do you feel that there's also a role to play, considering that the Western media in particular in this part of the world is very anti certain issues that we stand for? And how do you see the role of the World Federation in trying to get those kind of messages out?
Well, as far as the anti-Islam messages are concerned, this is something that is being faced by not only us, but all the organizations. That is the reason of what the media committee does, is it on a regular basis comes out with articles and then we give it to the journalists. Not that they use it, but if you notice, the journalists themselves are now beginning to take attention. If you saw the articles of Patrick Coburn in The Independent, which is a mainstream newspaper, there are 5 articles that have come up and they've pointed out not only the Islamophobia, but the anti-Shia stance that is being taken up by the public. And I think that is lack of awareness. I think what Federation still needs to do is be more out there and be at the places and explain the peaceful nature of what Shias are all about.
Considering all the work you've done on external relations and all that, what do you think has gone well and what can be better?
I think it has gone well in the sense that we have managed to penetrate areas where we were not there before. We have sort of created alliances. We have started working with other Shia organizations to amplify our voice, or the voice of the Shias. So that I think that has gone well, and I think that will continue because the organizations themselves complement each other. So the work that goes on is very helpful. What could go better is the external affairs portfolio is a very large portfolio, and I think what World Federation will have to look in future is to create secretariat behind it and involve more people in the team so that it is not seen to be just one person doing the work. There should be a team involved because there are a lot of events that I am not able to attend, and there are not that many people out there who are able to attend. So I think it's important that that section should be reinforced, and that then can also play in the part with the NGO. So in that way, the external part is looked after.
Very briefly, if you can tell me, you have been involved in the establishment of the UK Shia Council. What's that all about?
Yes, that has been a project that I've been trying since I was the president of Council of European Jamaat. I think we have to, as a Shia body, need a voice. We are a minority to start with, but we all seem to be working in silos. And then the way we looked at it is about a year and a half ago, we got together some individuals with some organizations to think in terms of creating an organization called United Kingdom Shia Muslim Council. And the idea was to bring in all the ethnicities in there and have one voice. Previously, when there have been quite a few attempts made to put together the Shias together, and it for whatever reason, it never worked. So this time around, we decided to bring the clerics along and work with the clerics because we needed that seal of approval. And the public usually looks up to the clerics. So this time we are working with the clerics, and that's and the way we've worked at it is it's been challenging, but we're progressing, and not as fast as I would have liked. But then working with the clerics is not something that happens very, very quickly.
Following on that, don't you think the whole concept of us concentrating on our Khoja identity, looking inwards, goes against that spirit of uniting the Shias? Because, what is Khoja? Shouldn't we be concentrating on becoming part of a Shia community?
I think we are part of the Shia, but I think there is no harm in maintaining our identity. It's important to maintain our identity, and yet we work with the other organizations. I mean, if you look at Iraqis, they maintain their identity. If you look at the Pakistanis, they maintain their identity. And I think it's healthy, so that whatever our culture is, whatever our rituals are, we are able to do it. We are able to mingle together with the people that we know or have the same background. So it's healthy to do that way. But that doesn't mean that we don't work with other Shia organizations. So I think those two are quite compatible.
Final question. There is quite a void in terms of women's involvement, especially at senior positions at the World Federation. Why do you think that is so, and how can that be changed?
Well, I think women are already there. I think if I'll give an example of Sister Saida Jiwa, she's a councillor. We've got Sister Ismat in the Council of European Jamaat. If you look at North America, there's a fairly large representation. And I don't think we are averse to the idea of women coming up there. I think the platform is available, and whenever they are ready, whenever position is available, I think women should be. But look at the other way around. We have also opened up ourselves to the youths, and there's a very, very large intake of youths coming in who are professional, who are dedicated, and that's also helping us out. Now, when you talk about women, you've got another example is Sister Anissa. She does a fantastic job in relief. So there are places that are coming in, and it's not that there is any taboo of bringing women in. It's just that as and when the time comes in, the position is available.
Brother Munawer Rattansey, thank you very much.
So thank you very much.